I was in Milwaukee. I was born and raised there. I grew up on 6th and Burleigh right near Borchard Field. So are some of the people that know what the old ballpark was. We used to sneak in there as teenagers and kids. I went to school in Milwaukee. I graduated from Boys Tech in 1940. I started at Lang Brothers Woodwork as a cabinet maker. World War II came along, and I was drafted after we had government contracts, and we were making bunk beds for the Navy at the rate of 2,000 a week. And when that contract gave up, the three of us apprentices were pulled in because we were delayed until this contract finished. They needed those beds more than they needed us. I went into service, Biloxi, Mississippi, basic, Lowry Field, training in heavy bombers, armor, munitions, guns. Traded around, had a bad accident in Salt Lake City, got 15 pieces of glass in my eye, and ended up with limited service. I was sent to Pueblo. I became an air operations person. I did air operations at the base below the tower, not the tower work, for 6 months, and then I was sent to McCook. We started an air base which we didn't understand. There were 72 of us sent there, and we were wondering about these huge crates. Well, they never told us, they never let us open them. They told us don't touch them. Well, I was transferred back to Pueblo. I was checked at the hospital one day to see if I could see the big E on the chart, and all of a sudden I was on the list, and the next morning I was on the way to England. That base turned out to be a B-29 base at McCook, Nebraska. That's why it was so secretive. And when I got to England, they traded me off from the heavy bombers to fighters, and I joined a special 9th Aerodrome Squadron, and we made the initial landing on June 6th with the troops. Our contact people were the American Rangers that got Point du Hoc, and we had to set up an airfield there to eliminate the 100-mile trip from England back and forth. It took up too much fuel and too much time to support the rest of the troops. It was a pretty hectic couple of weeks. And then we traveled across Europe very fast as the infantry and the tanks moved. We moved right with them as fast as we could go to the next place where we could operate, either a little civilian airfield or wherever we could get planes in. And of course, later on in the winter, we were up in Belgian Holland area, and if you remember, we had the Battle of the Bulge, and we maintained a field there with 45 planes. Everybody else pulled out, and our unit had to stay because we were experienced at this stuff. And we finally, after 6 days, got the planes in the air when the fog cleared, and we hit the front of Hitler's column. You can't imagine, 45 planes, 3 500-pound high explosives, all the 8 guns each. They slammed that thing, and they devastated the thing. The unit received the Belgian Fort de Guerre for that. They were only award given to any American soldier from the American government. And then I ended up, from there on, I ended up with the War Crimes Commission at Nuremberg, Germany, and I had my orders to come home the day before. I had a privilege. I would have been sitting in the courtroom when they read the indictments against Himmler and Goering and these people, but I said, no thank you, I'm going home.